Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to our community of practice. It's been close to a month, I think. Thank you for joining us back. And today we have the privilege of having Stuart Samkange, who's most known to all of us, I believe. And I will be introducing him shortly, and then we can kick off. The session is being recorded. Those of us who will be joining later will be able to catch up. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my very good friend, Stuart Samkange. We're letting more people in. You can say hello, Stuart.
Hello, Emily. And hello, all participants. I'm seeing a lot of friends that are joining. It's been a while. Yeah, that's it. Wave. It's Friday, guys. You have made it to the end of the week. I hope you got energy for this session because I've been preparing just for you and just for this time. Apollo, how's it going?
Hi, Stuart. How are you?
And Falguni, how you doing? And how's it going at MP Shah?
At the MP Shah? Wait.
No, I see Falguni. No. I don't want you to. Apollo, I want you to stay in the banking industry. I don't want you to move to the hospitals.
We are doing well at NCBA. I know it's a bit confusing.
No. I bank with you, so it can't be confusing. Falguni, MP Shah. That's what we're doing. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good to see you on this forum.
Thank you.
Excellent. I'm seeing a lot of friends here from the industry. So good to connect, guys. Emily, thank you for putting this together.
Thank you for honoring us with your presence and time, Stuart. Sorry about my slide. So, Stuart, I can introduce you in so many ways. I think I am going to let everyone see the screen, and then I will talk a little bit about how I know Stuart, who I've known for many years. I think when I worked in the insurance industry, and he has been a great friend of the HR leaders in terms of supporting us, internally on the strategic piece of HR. If you look at the hashtag Africa Jobs, it's time to shine. I think this has been his tagline for the longest. Everybody who's connected on LinkedIn has seen this and his power of storytelling, always challenging everybody on the story of personal branding, careers. Stuart has a big heart and he's really into developing young people, creating opportunities for them, giving his time, sharing his resources. I mean, it's amazing. I just don't know where he gets all the energy from. So I like to stick next to him so he can infect me with some of those. Yes, and we've reconnected again during this time. Stuart has an interesting topic to share with us. He is the lead for graduate programs at LinkedIn. He's been there, I think, for the last couple of years. And before that, Stuart was with Oracle and working with various other large organizations, really supporting HR directors in various organizations. And like I said, he has a passion for the youth, as you can see from the way his profile reads. You can reach him on LinkedIn through his profile. After this session, I think we should all connect with him. And obviously, we do have the Rise and Learn community of practice. After this session, we'll be able to engage and continue to interact and ask questions on the subject matter. So without further ado, welcome, Stuart. Please add anything I left out. I'll stop sharing my screen so that I hand it over to you. And thank you everyone for joining.
Oh, wow. Maybe we should have a photograph of the people that made it early. Emily, can you make it happen so that we take a group photograph? Everyone, if you've got limited bundles, those who are in the financial sector like Apollo, share, Sambaza people. Let's take a group photo before we get started.
Yes, good idea. Catherine, are you there?
Let's see.
We are ready to give, to support. Can they just visit one of our branches, open an account, and put the money in there?
Look at you promoting yourself. Okay, so Emily, you're taking the photograph, so I'm counting on you. 5, 4, 3, best smiles.
Yeah, but these guys don't have photos. I'm waiting for them to turn off their videos.
You should have
So,
taken a
or
screenshot. You should have
their
taken a
photographs.
screenshot. No, no, no. Let's
No?
get started. We've got a lot to fill.
Sure.
And the way I wanted to have this conversations, as I always have all conversations, is to make it a personal conversation first, and then also to make it a professional conversation and sharing what I've seen in interacting with companies across Africa. I have the opportunity of traveling across the continent, working with enterprises, working with governments, and working with universities. I interact with a lot of talent professionals and talent leaders. So what I'll be sharing today will be somewhat from that perspective of what I'm seeing across the continent. I also have the luxury of working at LinkedIn, where I have access to insights. These insights are not only available to LinkedIn, they're also available to you as talent professionals. So I'm going to lean in on what we're seeing from an insights perspective, because the things that we do on the platform as individuals, as companies, as organizations, as schools, as people add their skills, all of that tells a story. The story is called the economic graph. That is what professionals are leaning in terms of understanding what is happening in the world of talent. They get insights on who's hiring, what skills are growing, what's in demand, what skills are leaving the country. All of that helps form you as the modern professional. So for today's preparation, when I was speaking to Emily, I said I'd want to break this down into a couple of areas. I wanted us, first of all, to talk about LinkedIn very quickly, because I got to pay the rent and keep my job. But by the way, I'm asking you at the end of this session to share everything that you have learned or anything that has inspired you with another professional. Each one teach one. So I'm quickly going to cover the LinkedIn profile from an individual perspective with the mindset and the hat of an HR professional and why it's important to have that. Then I want us to transition that conversation into what is changing in the world of HR and what are the dynamics that we have to work with if we want to be strategic business advisors. The research is showing that the future of HR leadership is not coming from talent directors like yourself. It's coming from the lines of business. So what are the business skills we need to learn? What are the soft and emotional skills that we need to use every day as we engage? How do we play an effective role as the bridge between the business, the leaders, the employees, and the external stakeholders and communities that we serve? So that's how we're going to have this conversation. I would like you, please, if you've got questions, add them to the chat so that Emily notarizes those. And then what we can do is that once we finish this, we can go into question and answers. There's a lot to share, like I said, and ultimately I want you to have this also as a recording that you can play back afterwards and go through the slides, because I'm not going to read through the slides and I'm not going to speak to every single point on the slides, because you can read. It's Friday, you'll be forgiving. We're going to do it the Stuart way. It's time to shine. Emily talked about my hashtag. Maybe I should just lead with that. My hashtag is it's time to shine. I curate that hashtag as an individual. Why do I do that? Because my background is actually in technology, not in the HR space. But look at this. Today you've given me your time, which I appreciate, and this audience to talk about what is happening in the HR space. Why? Because I study, I throw myself into it. It is my passion. I am working every single day with HR leaders to make the workplace a better place. So I read and I invest in myself and I build a brand around myself, showing the passion, educating other people on this platform on the things that I've learned. Not everybody wants to read. Not everybody wants to learn. Not everybody wants to lead transformation. But I've taken it upon myself. And this is my first challenge for you this afternoon. What are you challenging yourself with? Especially given all the changes that are going on. There are a couple of topics I've put up here, and there's a couple more I will share. in terms of what is changing in the world of work? Which one of these areas are you taking leadership? Which one of these areas are you leading the conversation internally with our leaders? Which one of these conversations outside of your traditional day-to-day role are you stretching yourself to take upon? Maybe not the right way of saying it, but you get the idea. Challenge yourself. Stretch beyond the traditional role of HR. I attended a session in Kenya once, and what the guest speaker said stuck with me because it was horrible, but it was the truth. He said, if we took employee engagement, wellness, kickoffs, if we took that from HR and we gave it to marketing, and we took payroll from HR and we gave that to finance, would anyone miss HR? Does a room go quiet when you go in? Are you seen as a strategic partner to the business? You call yourself an HR business partner, but how much of the business do you understand? Do you stand in for that leader when they're not around? Or are you helping to fill out forms? Are you sitting in disciplinary meetings? We are talent developers. We have the ability to be in rooms where other leaders cannot be in those rooms. And if we're open and transparent about our intention to assist leaders, to help managers, to be the voice of reason and to be the ears of the employees, if we lead with that transparently, then we have more access to be sitting in those rooms. And when we have access and we crystallize those sentiments against what are the strategic objectives of the organization, and we lead with data, we need to be like our finance colleagues. Finance, it's about numbers. You know, I once heard an analogy and I'll share it with you. Someone said, you know what? Leaders are like crayons. You've got children. Crayons, they're like the big picture, colorful. So when you talk to your leaders, lead with data and paint the big picture. They said our finance colleagues are like pens. Once they write, you can't rub it out. It's factual. And then they said HR. HR is like a pencil. We flutter. It's emotional. We rub out things. We take that perspective, we change it. Is that how we want to be seen? That's my challenge to you. So, like I said, and I hope I haven't stirred you out of your chair and made you afraid, I want you to take this journey with me positively. Change is upon us. And with that change, we should change as well. So I will share insights that will challenge you, might frighten you, but I know you're bold and you're ready to transform. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this session. So LinkedIn, quick snapshot, busy place, huge, growing professional community. It's important that your voice on that community is heard. It's important that you use it actively, not to look for a job. Yeah? Was that your first thought? No. To use LinkedIn as a sounding board for some of those ideas. To use LinkedIn to listen to some of those future of HR topics I talked about. To follow hashtags. To follow industry leaders. To continuously learn and develop yourself as the professional you are. Because if you're not transforming, I'll let you fill in the blanks. So LinkedIn has all this data, but all of this data is not just for the collection of data. It's there to help you make better decisions. What are modern HR professionals doing with this data? They're using it to get insights. Where's my competition hiring? What skills are growing in the industry? What skills is my competitor growing? What skills are leaving my organization? Which college or university should I hire from because they're growing a certain skill And which universities should I avoid in my next hiring? Because if I look at my diversity pool of my employees, I see that I have too many people from one institution. How can I drive change and innovation if I'm hiring from the same environments? So by leading with data, you will challenge yourself and you will tell a different story. Storytelling is important to me because stories bring our ideas to life. Stories bring people along on that journey. No matter how you define it, your success starts with your LinkedIn profile. Because when people ask, or when you want to meet with someone, what's the first thing you do? You check them out on LinkedIn. What's their background? Where do they go to school? Where do they volunteer? Who are they connected with? What kind of content do they share? Now, if you're not active because you're not looking for a job, you're missing an opportunity. You need to be active to share your voice, to learn, to connect, to share the feelings that you have that are professional. I often say edutain. Make yourself vulnerable. Look at the mistakes that you've made. Ask. It's a free sounding board of professionals. Give other people the chance to share their opinions with you. So when you're faced with workplace challenges, you're not alone. There are groups on LinkedIn for professionals like yourself. I talked about leading with data, analytics, and insights. Maybe that's not your comfort zone. So where are you going to go acquire these skills? In a place where you can find the professionals who are leading in that area? In a place where you can ask direct questions? In a place where you can find rich media that helps tell the story? People post photographs, infographics, presentations, white papers, and articles. And you're not doing that. So what feeling or emotion are you leaving, not only with the outside world, but even your internal stakeholders? So when you say to that manager in sales or director in sales, I want to help transform our sales engine, and you yourself have not invested in understanding, one, the business, number two, what skills are growing and required in the sales profession, or seeing incentive compensations others are adopting as times have changed. You need to lead with credibility. Your brand needs to speak when you're not in the room. So make sure as a professional, as you broach all of these new areas, that you are telling the story of you. You are sharing with your professionals. You are learning from other professionals. In order to do that, understand where you are in your career journey. Will you be always an HR professional? I challenge you to go for the CEO position because you have access right now. You understand that talent, people are a single game changer. Everyone can buy the technology. Everyone can improve their processes, but the people are the game changer. And the soft skills we're seeing in people like creativity, only you know how to harness them. Only you know how to understand the DNA of that business unit, the travel required, the sacrifices required, the support you give in making that employee mobile, to give that employee a chance to learn, to be heard. I want to get off my soapbox and give you 7 quick tips of what you can do on your LinkedIn profile. First, get a great photograph that's warm and welcoming. Next, get a headline that speaks to where you are in your career journey. So if you're actively looking for a job, here you might want to stick to a formal business title. But if you are creating impact and you want your brand to speak for you, when the CEO, when the CFO, when the shareholders, when the sales director in your company looks you up, talk about the impact you have in his department. How are you transforming the sales organization in your company to delight customers, to acquire new business, to run more efficiently, or to be just a happy workplace? Tell your story. This is a dynamic environment. As HR professionals, you've looked at thousands of CVs and resumes. You've met so many people in interviews. It's now time to tell your story. It's important because when those talent decisions of the future are being made and you're not in the room, you want this, your professional profile and brand, to speak for you. Next, focus on your summary. I've given you some tips on the screen. Like I said, I'm not going to read through everything. But what I will say is use images, use media to bring your story to life. Even that background image around your profile, use a great image that speaks to the value and the things that you care about. A picture speaks 1,000 words. That cliche did not just come from nowhere. Next, let's make sure when we put in our experience, I know we're HR professionals, let's not show we're lazy. What's lazy? Cutting and pasting your job description. Who wants to read that? It's Friday. I've got a hiring manager that's telling me to find the best out there and you put in your job description. It's a rookie mistake. Tell a story. Who's the company you're working for? What do they do? The department you're working for, what impact are you looking to drive? And then for your own self, what results have you delivered? What's unique about what you bring to the job? And then next, a call to action. Who do you want to connect with? Like-minded professionals? What new areas do you want to learn? Machine learning, digital marketing, video production. Show that you have a growth mindset. Because when people read this, it gives them a reason to have a conversation with you. So oftentimes people ask us, what do we do? If we have this story and we have it dynamically changing on our profile, opportunities will come to us. I'm into my third multinational job and I thank God for it. But you know what? I also thank LinkedIn. I've used it so well, they ended up calling. I'm not going to say it's going to happen for everyone. It's a marathon. For years, I've been sharing content. For years, I've been engaging. For years, I've been putting myself out there so that others can correct me, so that others can guide me, so that others can connect me with people that will help grow my career or my understanding around a particular topic. So build your HR brand. Write stories. Here's the superpower with LinkedIn, guys. Just write stories. Stories that help educate, that help excite, that help engage. Get a conversation going around what you're grappling with, around what you have learned. But of course, observing confidentiality, not showing out other people in a bad light, but really putting it out there so that someone else can learn and engage with you. Who knows what it'll lead to? A speaking engagement, a book, an article, who knows? Opportunity knocks once. Are you listening? All right. So how to write on LinkedIn? Quick, simple one. I do this with graduates. Part of my role is, of course, to lead the graduate activation program in LinkedIn, which means I work with universities at scale to help their students transition the education they've received into the skills that the business needs. And with that, I coach them how to behave on social media. I don't need to coach you, you're mature professionals. But what I will say, as you have observed yourself, is that when opportunities arise, all of us will do a Google search or a Bing search on the person who's asking for the meeting. So how are you representing yourself across all digital platforms? Are you ranting and raving about services from a service provider using your real name on Twitter? Those in KOT, I'm talking to you. Or are you being polite, positive, encouraging, growing others? Here's how you talk about donuts on multiple platforms, but if you had to take the same conversation to LinkedIn, you would have a professional mindset. You'll be looking to connect with others in the industry. You'll be looking to learn. You'll be looking to share. And here's the thing. Those who are making the rookie mistake of connecting with people and asking for jobs or asking for a favor, what I've found is have 5 touch points with someone before you ask for anything. Likewise, if you're asking to connect with anyone, reach out to them and show how you can help them first before you ask for an introduction, before you ask for a job, before you ask for a favor. I've got homework for you right here. It's Friday, I know. Emily is going to be my prefect here and checking who hasn't done their homework. I spent some time here sharing my best practices around LinkedIn. I know it was quick, but it's recorded. You can watch it again. But here are your go-dos. I love go-dos because they speak to one of my favorite hashtags, do work. Don't attend these webinars and these Zoom sessions purely to pass time. Attend them to make positive changes in your life. Changes that will give you access to new economic opportunities and changes that will make you a better service provider. And making you a better service provider and making you a more strategic service provider is now what I want to lead our conversation into. In my daytime job, it's not doing this, sessions like this. In my daytime job, I'm working with hiring managers and I'm working with talent acquisition professionals and also CHROs and directors. I'm working with them around a narrative of planning for talent, planning for the future. I'm working with them around their hiring needs and branding needs immediately and for the future. And then I'm working with them around the development of their employees. Development means, first of all, listening to our employees. So how are we engaging? Secondly, it means providing help once we've listened. So what learning are we providing to support our managers to be better leaders? What help are we providing our employees to work from home? That's my daytime job. And in that daytime job capacity, I have seen that the modern HR is really anchored like a three-legged stool in Africa around three pillars: operations, center of expertise, and our HR business partners. I'm finding I'm spending more time with the business partners because they are closer to the business. Because it is the business that needs agility. It is the business that needs transformation right now. And what the business is calling upon is strategic partners who understand them, strategic partners who deliver results, strategic partners who support decisions with data. But the first leg of that chair is our HR operations. We cannot be strategic business partners if we're not paying people on time, if we're not giving people access to well-being, financialness, if we're not looking after our people. So our operations need to be picture perfect. Because if this is not picture perfect, the next two legs are meaningless. So as an HR business partner, you should have oversight and understanding of these legs of business, so that when you become a strategic advisor to the employee or provide coaching to the leader, you know that you've got the foundations laid. In terms of center of expertise, there are professionals out there that I'm working with on a daily basis around these areas. The key ones right now I am seeing around talent acquisition and the employee experience. Learning and development is such a hand in glove to those two. Because when we hear the sentiments of our employees who are the closest to our customers, when we hear the sentiments of our employees in what they're grappling with when they're working from home, we can translate that into training and learning for our managers so that they can support them better. Because it is our employees that drive the results. The HR business partner community that I deal with are strategically focused on these three areas. And these are the three areas that you'll find I'm going to be speaking a lot about, because they are the face of HR. They are the face of the organization. You are the bridge between our leaders, our managers, and our employees. And what's more, even external stakeholders, you're closely becoming that bridge. But you can only be that bridge if you understand the business. Now, the model I've shown you is world-class, but it's not to say everyone has adopted it yet. It depends on the size, the business, and of course, how much resources we have. Some of you, you're all these things in one, no pressure. But some of you have the luxury of working in large organizations. I want you to lead the charge for transformation. Lead the charge for transformation by adopting best practices that will ensure that we are more cohesive in the way that we work and that our time is being leveraged better to listen to the business, to align to driving business initiatives rather than operational things. You did not study to fill out forms. And I'm not neglecting the other areas of HR as form filling. No. What I'm saying is, if you want to be the modern HR leader in this world, there's certain things you need to do. First of all, understand your audience and your stakeholders. Who are the people that matter to your success? Who are your clients? Who are your customers? Who do you wake up and think of first? Besides your wife and kids. I could get in trouble there. So who do you wake up and think of? Your leaders, your managers, and your employees. I've given you some ideas. There are some of the conversations you could be having with them. But what I'd like to lead with is that you lead with open communication. I want you to be the voice of reason. I want you to understand where we are from a policy perspective, and then also understand the dynamic environment that we're in and the need for us to be more conscious of our employees' emotions. To understand the resilience that is required in our management as they face the challenges of revenue pressures in a market that is not thriving, in a market that is not surviving. You need to lead that partnership by understanding the business. Understand and ask yourself these questions because they'll make you be a better partner. It'll let people invite you to conversations. You always talk about earning a seat at the table. Well, now is your time. Go on to LinkedIn Learning and get the business fundamentals. And if you can't get onto LinkedIn Learning, now is the time to reach out to your finance partner. Go and spend time with them. Learn. Go and spend time with the sales. Go and spend time with those who deliver our services. Because when you listen and you speak their language, it helps you accelerate the road to trust. Earning trust is not instantaneous. It is a journey. But you earn it by speaking the language that people speak. You earn it by listening with intent. Intent to transform, intent to innovate, intent to progress. You can only do this when you've invested in understanding the business. I know I've harped on about you learning business skills, but this is the number one thing that I've seen with HR professionals who are modern, who are leading, who are successful, who are growing, who are being promoted, who are being paid like individual contributors, who are rising to lead their own companies, who are rising to learn. What they're doing is being more predictable. They're understanding the business. They're understanding the rhythm of the business. When is end of quarter? With that mindset, when should I run my surveys? When should I be looking at skills? When should I be deploying learning? When are people leaving my organization? When is my competition hiring? What skills are my competition growing so that I can understand what they're doing from a strategy perspective? I can't do that without data and insights. So another core competency and skill set every modern HR professional requires is around data and insights. Get to understand it, but understand it and lace it with your storytelling. You need to tell the story to the executives of the investments we need to make that will impact people's productivity, increase efficiency, and drive down costs. If you're not speaking around those areas, they're not going to listen. You've seen it yourself. You've tried a couple of initiatives. In terms of what other conversations I'm seeing modern HR professionals focusing on, particularly in talent, because that's where I'm spending my time every day, is around these areas here. Succession planning. Yes, we're not hiring right now, but what are we doing to prepare ourselves for the eventuality that with what has happened now, some of our top professionals want to leave the business and set up their own business. Why? Because they've got time with their kids. Why? Because they found their passion. Why? Because they love working from home. And they don't have troublesome HR to work with. So with that mindset, or with that fear, with that uncertainty, with that doubt around our talent, and knowing that role or that person is critical, what are we doing for succession planning? How are we having these conversations with our leaders so that they have the mindset that is open and not fearful that they're being replaced? Around that again, in terms of our own internal talent, what are we doing to recognize and promote that talent so that it stays with us? What are we doing to develop that talent so that it stays with us and that it attracts other like-minded top talent into our company? We can only do that if we're leading with data. I've thrown a couple of ideas here. I want you to lead that change, knowing that change is difficult, but you're the bridge. This is why you're going to invest time around emotional intelligence, learning resilience, learning change, learning transformation, learning whenever you can. When I moved to Europe, I learned one thing. I am not my wife's husband. I am my wife's partner, which means I get to wash plates. I don't mind. Which means I get to cook on Saturday and Sunday, and I love cooking. Maybe it shows. But here's the thing. By being a partner, I now have time that I must commit to some of those chores, and I don't mind, like I said. And when I do those chores, such as washing plates after dinner, I throw on my headphones and I watch a LinkedIn learning course. I watch a course around creating a plan for change, around communicating change, getting my stakeholders in, getting my key leaders supporting, buying into my business vision because it aligns to what we're strategically trying to do. So invest in yourself. If there's anything you leave this session with, is the fact that you need to continue to invest in yourself. Be a lifelong learner and learn from our employees, learn from your children, reverse mentorship. Learn social media and how to work on LinkedIn from how your children interact with the other platforms. They can tell you the mistakes. They can tell you how to engage people. They can tell you how to take great photographs, but bring your story to life internally and externally. So invest in storytelling because you're going to need it as you drive change, as you drive transformation. But I want to end off with probably the most exciting thing I've seen for you and I've seen for other talent leaders is that you get the opportunity to coach. This is probably the most exciting opportunity that exists in your roles. You have the opportunity to go in as a trusted advisor. To coach is not to provide answers. To coach is not to be the subject matter expert, but it's to help someone discover. It is to explore. It is to try. It is to facilitate. Now, all these skills I've talked about, you can find them on LinkedIn Learning, and you can find them on other platforms. I personally like LinkedIn Learning because when I do it on LinkedIn Learning, I get to share with my network. And sometimes LinkedIn, when I share with my network gets to do that course for free. So I'm helping people. That's my DNA. Number two, when I do it on LinkedIn, I add that certification to my profile. It shows I'm a continuous learner. It shows that I'm adapting. I have agility. What are you doing for your personal brand as an HR professional? How are you showing your growth mindset? And when you share that you finished these courses, what are the 3 things you would recommend for somebody else? What are the 3 things that you've learned in this session that you're going to share with an HR professional, that you're going to change on Monday, that you're going to think about through this weekend? I thank you for your time. And I encourage you to connect with me on LinkedIn. Give me a reason to connect, as I always say. Give everyone a reason to connect with you. Don't just click the connect button. Click to connect and say, here's where I want to connect. Number two, same thing with recommendations. You should be seeking recommendations so that they speak for your brand. So recommendations can come from those very same leaders, those managers, those employees, and external stakeholders. What are they saying about your brand? I ask you to think about your brand as we go into the modern world of HR. Thank you, Emily.
Wow, Stuart, you never disappoint. Thank you so much. Such energy and engaging and thought-provoking conversation. Personally, I've picked quite a bit around beginning with branding ourselves, because you said your brand should speak for itself when you're not there. And thank you for reminding us the various aspects of strategic HR and where we should really be focusing our energy on. Yes, we are great in operations and the expertise side of HR, but then how we will really add value is by staying focused on the side that speaks to sharing our time, giving a listening ear to our audience, developing our business acumen, and really facilitating change within the organization, and of course becoming advisors, and even having coaching conversations within the organization. So Stuart, I don't want to speak a lot. I think it's such a privilege to have you here. And the beauty with these sessions is that we get to give people an opportunity to contribute. And I'm encouraging you now, if you have a question or a comment, you can unmute yourself, show your face if you like, and let's Stuart. In case I don't see your hand, please just unmute yourself and speak.
Your people are kind, Emily.
Please do not embarrass me now. Yeah.
Emily, what are the three things?
I'm seeing Mukunya Mugo.
Yes, thank you, Emily. Thank you, Stuart, for that insightful session. And also thank you for challenging us to continuously grow ourselves. I think as HR professionals, we always look after other people and we forget to look after ourselves. So thank you for that, and for encouraging us that also if we follow you and do the courses you've done, we can also do them for free. So that's also a good thing.
Oh, Kenya, my people.
I tell you, that's a good tip. Best takeaway.
No, definitely. And it's not just yourself, to be quite honest. I've done master classes for marketing professionals. You would think that marketing professionals would be first to manage their own brands. They are not. So yeah, you're not the first. It's not an easy thing. Just look at other people's profiles, see how they're telling their story and how they're showing they're dynamically learning. What you want to tell is a story of a progressive professional. This is not a resume. This is your digital billboard that talks about who you are, what you're doing, and why it matters. So make sure that it's always changing, because that's how the opportunities come to you. The more you learn, the more opportunities you'll find in life.
Faguni says it was insightful. I'll be engaging Stuart so he can help me build my HR brand.
Oh yeah, let me be honest and clear there. So as much as we're friends, guys, the thing is, from a scale perspective, I'm unable to help individuals. But what I've done is that I've created a YouTube channel. There's actually a section specific for you as HR professionals. Emily, if I can share my screen again, I can just show how I provide support for everybody. Let me just go to full screen and I share it here. Just one sec. Okay. I don't know if you guys
do that.
can...
If anyone, yeah, as you do that, and if anyone else wants to speak, please go on.
I don't know if you guys can see my profile. Is it showing?
Not yet. I don't see it.
Thank you,
Oh,
Emily.
okay.
Just want to say something.
Yes, Apollo.
Yeah, this is a very insightful session, and as I've said before, Stewart never disappoints, always very engaging. I know, I remember about 3 years ago when I met, when I invited Stewart to NIC to come and pitch for LinkedIn. He left everybody in the room asking why we've not been in LinkedIn all these years. So very insightful lessons, Stewart, and I think we'll engage more.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Can you guys see my screen? Emily, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, you can see.
So in terms of supporting yourselves, I want to help you build out your profile, not only for yourself, but also for your wife, for your children, and anybody else. So what I've done is, if you go onto my profile, is that here under the featured section, so everybody has this section and you can have it as well. So what I say for HR professionals is that if you find, for example, people are always asking you for jobs or they're trying to understand how to work in the bank, etc., you can go and put your process here so that you can always refer people. Remember, you were once young, you were once a student, and you got help from someone. So here's how you work at scale. So if you want to learn how to create a profile as a lady, there's a sample here that shows you the 7 tips of how to build your profile if you're a lady. Again, if you're an executive and you're trying to discover how to build a voice on LinkedIn, or you're trying to coach your leaders on what they can speak about on LinkedIn, there's a document here that shows them how to be visible, how to be connected, how to be influential, how to be competitive, and some best practices around that. So that's also how I'm helping. Now you'll find as you go through the documents, there'll be documents affiliated with men, there'll be documents affiliated with executives. You'll find a short fun video here that shows the transformation of your role. So some of the content I got today and which I was talking about, some of it came through this short animation video that you can watch. Now, do you see how I've taken a YouTube video and added it to my profile so that I can assist? The other way, sorry, just to finish off, in terms of how you can find tips from me, if you go to my profile under activity, if you click on activities and you go to, first of all, my articles, you'll find I've written articles. Now, articles are the superpower on LinkedIn. If you write an article, it stays with your profile. It's different from an update. So I wrote here an article about a photo shoot I went for where this guy posted it and the photo went viral. But I wrote about what I learned from that photo shoot. I wrote here an article about betting on a darkie, which is a book that's been written by a CEO of Altron in South Africa. I interviewed him, I took snippets of what I learned, and I posted it as an article. Now, there'll be other articles as you scroll down. Oh, look, there's an article I wrote about interviewing my son about his YouTube channel. If you're not feeling inspired about LinkedIn, social media, go read this article. It's a quick read. My son distills how to post, when to post. It's simple. Now, if a 9-year-old is doing it, what economic opportunities is he going to get that your 18-year-old is not going to get, that you are not going to get? So let's invest in ourselves, folks. You'll find, sorry, I'm going to finish off, Emily. There'll be other articles I just want to show, for example, just scrolling down, articles on how to post. And I just wanted to show that this one here, it shows you how to publish articles on LinkedIn. So instead of coming to me and saying, Stuart, help me, please go and have a look at the articles. There's quite a few of them. They talk about how to post and how to write on LinkedIn, how to develop a good picture, how to make money off LinkedIn. They talk about how to even look for jobs without your boss knowing that you're looking for jobs. So I'll take questions. I just wanted to show that through my profile, there's a lot of self-help. And Emily, please share my YouTube details with everyone, where if I do an interview, I record it and I post it on YouTube. Oh. Emily.
Yeah,
I'm
right here. All right. Thank you, Stuart. Thank you so much for being so generous. We appreciate that. Do we have any more comments? I think there are. The last one was from Stuart. He's just spoken. Can I give the floor to anyone else who wants to ask a question? Stuart, you're still sharing your screen?
Yeah, that's where you'll find the videos on my YouTube channel. There are specific areas just for you as talent professionals. So go to the playlist. You'll find just for talent acquisition and recruitment professionals. Anything that I learn and I find, I share it in this particular forum. If you're in branding, marketing, hiring, finding jobs, or just interviews with subject matter experts, you'll find it on my channel. So that's why I had it up, and I'll stop sharing.
We'll share those links as well on the Rise and Learn community, including the recording. But in the next 9 or so minutes, I'd like to give an opportunity to anyone else who has a question or a comment.
I see
You're
May.
welcome.
May was on the session. Hi, May. Small world.
Hi, how are you?
I'm all right. How you doing? You're writing amazing articles. You're going viral. If anybody needs help on how to write, May can help. I think let's all teach each other. It's not to just say Stuart. It's to also look at other professionals who have broken new ground. Put yourself out there. Write about what you're passionate about. May, tell us a bit.
What happened, thank you very much, Stuart. Thank you very much, Emily. What happens is usually there is always that fear in terms of sharing. What will people think about what you're sharing? Will it make sense? But at the end of the day, it's all about starting. Start small, and then eventually the content and the context becomes more reality as you continue going on, and you get a coach who is able to support you through the journey. Yeah.
Nice.
Excellent.
Yes. Yes.
Well done.
Thank you.
Pamela Luanga, do you want to say something as well, or Lisbeth?
No, Emily, I think that was so insightful, just leaving us with a very nice weekend. Think about everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's food for thought over the weekend. Thank you so much, Stuart and Emily.
Nice to hear the voice.
Happy to help. Now we can all help each other and start telling those stories. Who else have we got, Emily? We've got 7 minutes. So guys, this is your time to ask questions. I'll answer them as honestly as I can, but don't be left after saying, I should have asked. May, I saw you on camera. Why are you hiding?
Sorry, it's giving everyone a chance to ask their questions, yes.
But
thank you very much, thank you.
In my country, we say that a child that does not cry dies on the mother's back. Yes. So you know what? The first to market, even in business, the first to market gets 50%. Everybody else fights over the remaining 50. So go for it. What's your question? If somebody else is too shy to learn, maybe this is not their time for them to learn.
Yeah, sure.
So what's the question, May?
None at all. Very happy with the insights, yes. Thank you.
Super, no problem.
All right, so I'm gonna give 1 more minute just to check around. Once again, I see comments. There are those who prefer. Thank you, Lisbeth. She says this was very insightful and challenging on the brand. Thank you once again, Stuart. And I'm just checking around. Catherine, if you see anyone, let me know. All right, so I think I'd like to close it there. and say thank you very much for your time. Once again, you really make this community what it is. Stuart, we do these sessions on Fridays, at least a couple in a month. We just resumed after a break, so you've been our first host, and you know, starting with a lot of energy, enthusiasm, and insight. We do not take it for granted. We appreciate you're very busy in your big role at LinkedIn, and thank you so much for your generosity in sharing the resources. And of course, we will be connecting. I'd like to encourage the rest of the team, connect on the network. Keep asking the questions. I know some of us are, you know, shy to speak on, you know, in a group, but we accommodate everybody. If you want to write, do that on the platform. I'd like to have you say your final words, Stuart, and then we close.
Well, my final words are do work. We've spoken, you've heard. You have now time to reflect and do work. What work are you going to do internally to show that you're championing the transformation agenda? What work are you going to do to engage closer with the leaders who make the decisions? What work are you going to do to help managers become leaders? And what work are you going to do with your employees to make yourself available to them? If you do all of those things, I think you will be successful because you will lead with data. You will be successful because you've embraced the concept of it's time to shine. It's time to shine as a professional. It's time to shine right now as a leader. So if you are going to shine, be healthy, be safe, and be kind always. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you. Please unmute yourself, say goodbye, and have a lovely weekend.
Cheers,
Thanks, Emily.
everyone.
Thanks, Stuart.
Thank you.
Bye,
Enjoy
everybody.
your weekend.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
See ya. Have a great weekend.